welcome back in geological knowledge. So in the previous 2 or 3 videos we have discussed about the basic terminologies related to jointing system, and also we have talked about the classification, 2 videos on the classification of joints, and equally we have talked about the origin of joints, means how they originate in rocks. Okay, so today's discussion is dedicated to the occurrences of joints, means how they are occurring, in which type of rocks, in which types of rock structures they are occurring. So let's start our discussion. So today's discussion is based on the occurrences of joints, means how they are occurring. So first question deals with the tensile stresses in igneous rocks or developed during, means the tensile stresses which are developed in igneous rocks are developed during the process of cooling, crystallization, cooling and crystallization both, or the molten state. So we all know that is the cooling as well as the crystallization process, that is the main process for the formation of igneous rocks. So basically the material that will melt, that will cool, and ultimately that will crystallize to give rise to the formation of an igneous rocks. Okay, so the igneous rocks are formed by cooling and crystallization of hot molten material that is called magma and lava. So magma when it's in the interior of the earth, and lava when it comes out onto the surface and gets solidified, that is known as lava. So as such, in most cases they show joint system that is related to the tensile stresses which develop during the process of cooling and crystallization. So cooling and crystallization, that is a long lasting process. It's not a process of 1 or 2 or 3 5 days or one month days. So it takes a lot of time. So during that cooling and crystallization process, several types of tensile stresses they are developed in the rocks. So that give rise to the joints. So here option cooling and crystallization, these both the terms are important. Okay, not only cooling or not only crystallization, but both the cooling and crystallization process that is developed in the tensile stresses in igneous rocks. Okay, the type of regular jointing not belonging to the sheet rocks, that is igneous rock, is sheet joints, box jointing, mural jointing, or the columnar jointing. So in the previous video we have talked about all these terms: sheet joints, mural joints, columnar joints, but box jointing is not a term. Okay, so the three regular or systematic types of joints which are observed in igneous rocks, these are joints: sheet joints, mural joints, and columnar joints. So box jointing, that is not such a term. Okay, so here option B is right. Third one is which jointing gives layered sedimentary structure appearance, means which joint pattern that gives a layered sedimentary appearance structure: seating jointing, mural jointing, box jointing, or the columnar jointing. So we have talked about the seed jointing. So seed jointing, they are often seen in the exposure of granites, especially in the exposure of granites. And these joints run in horizontal directions and are formed as tension cracks. So they are believed to have developed by unloading through the removal of overloading. So the important process in the formation of seed joint, that is the development of unloading through the removal of the overlying rocks by erosion or weathering, both these processes are responsible. So the seed joints, they are somewhat curved and are essentially parallel to the topographic surface. So they are more conspicuous and close together nearly the ground surface. So that is the definition or the explanation of seed joints. So in granites and other related igneous rocks, A horizontal set of joints often divides the rock mass in such a way that it gives it an appearance of layered sedimentary structures. That is called in this case as seating structures, because that makes the seats of layers. Okay, so here option is the correct option being the A. Fourth one is seed joints are caused not due to the, means seed joints not caused due to consequence of loading, weathering, removal of overloading rock mass, or the consequence of unloading. So we all have talked about that seed joints, they are sometimes caused due to the weathering as well as the removal of the overlying rock masses, which causes the expansion of the underlying igneous and other metamorphic rocks as a consequence of unloading. So what happens that when the load is there, so they feel a type of pressure or overburden pressure, but because of the process of weathering and the removal of overlying rock masses, the overlying material that has been weathered or eroded, so the overburden that was present there, now that has been diminished, so that causes the expansion of the underlying igneous and other rocks as a consequence of unloading. So here the option consequence of loading, that is not true. Okay, the correct option here is consequence of loading, A option. Fifth one is the geometrical distribution where rock mass is divided into cubes is known as seed jointing, mural jointing, columnar jointing, or the radial jointing. So in the previous video we have talked about mural joints. So generally in the granites, they commonly show the three sets of joints which are mutually at right angles, which divide the rock mass into more or less cubical blocks. So that is known as mural joints. Okay, so these are the some sort of geometrical distribution of joints which divide the rock mass into cubical blocks. Okay, so the cubical blocks or the cubes, that is the key term for you to understand or to define the mural joints. Okay, so here option B, that is mural joint, is the right answer. Types of joints found in volcanic igneous rocks are known as seed joints, mural joints, columnar joints, or the radial joints. So they are basically the volcanic igneous rocks, that means columnar joints. We have talked about previously that columnar joints are formed in tabular igneous masses such as dikes, silts, and lava flows. So these joints divide the rock masses into hexagonal, square, rhombic, or triangular columns. So such columns developed at right angles to the chief cooling surface. In lavas and silts, the columns are vertical, while in dikes they are horizontal, nearly horizontal. So we all know that is columnar joints, they are generally, are in the most of the cases, they are made up of basalt. Basalt is a volcanic rock, we all know. So that's a clue for you to identify the type of joints found in volcanic rocks. So that is columnar joints, they are typical of volcanic igneous rocks, although they may also be observed in other types of rocks, but generally they are observed in volcanic rocks, especially in basalt. Columnar joints are also called as radial joints, pyramidal joints, prismatic joints, or the box joints. So they are known as prismatic joints. So columnar joints, they are also known as prismatic joints, the joints because they divide the rock mass into polygonal blocks. So each block being bounded by 3 to 8 sides. We have discussed about the definition of columnar joints. So columnar joints, they divide the rock masses into hexagonal, square, rhombic shape, or triangular columns. So minimum of 3 sides, that is 3 to 8 sides, minimum of 3 sides and maximum of 8 sides, means the polygonal structure. Polygonal means more than 2 sides and maximum can be up to 8. Okay, so here option C is the Right answer, that is prismatic joints. Next one is, how are the main joints aligned to the cooling surface? Perpendicular, parallel, at 45 degrees, or at 30 degrees? So normally the main joints, they are vertical or perpendicular. Okay, so how one can be, how uh, an a shape or an shape can be vertical, so or perpendicular. So for a line or to a plane to be perpendicular, there must be a horizontal plane. If there is a horizontal plane, so on that horizontal plane there will be a line at 90 degrees to that. So means if this is horizontal, so automatically the next one is, or the perpendicular line, that will be vertical. Okay, so the main joints, they are vertical or perpendicular to the cooling surface and may extend to varying depths ranging in a few centimeters to many meters. Okay, so the essential or the angle, essentially angle, that is the perpendicular, means 90 degrees. How are the polygonal cracks related to? Directly related to compressive forces, directly related to tensile forces, inversely related to tensile forces, or directly related to the shearing forces. So polygonal cracks we have talked about, these are thought to be directly related to the tensile forces which are developed during the cooling of hot molten material, that is known as lava. Okay, so the forces, tensile forces, they are developed during the process of cooling, and cooling process is accompanied by the contraction. Okay, in the daytime when the sunlight is scanty, the sunlight is very high, the rock mass or the plains, they expands. But during the process in the night time when the temperature is low, the rock masses, they are accompanied by contraction. Okay, or they may compress. Okay, so in the process of cooling, the rock mass, they contract. Okay, so polygonal cracks are related to tensile forces. Option B is the right answer. Next one is, the contraction is equally developed in all directions in which kind of rock mass? Means the contraction is equally developed in all directions in which kind of rock mass? Non-homogeneous, isotropic, anisotropic, or homogeneous rock mass? So the key term here is equally developed. So anything, not only the contraction or in the joint planes, anything that can be equally developed when that is homogeneous in nature. Had it been non-homogeneous or anisotropic, it could have not been equally developed. Okay, so contraction is equally developed in all the directions in the homogeneous processes. So in a homogeneous rock mass undergoing the uniform cooling throughout the surface, the contraction is equally developed in all directions. Okay, so here the correct answer being the option D. Next one is, at what angles do the fractures appear to the line of tensile stresses? 180 degrees, 90 degrees, 45 degrees, or 60 degrees? So when the strength of the rock is overcome, the fracture appears at right angles to the line of tensile forces. Okay, so that is the option B. In sedimentary rock, joints are genetically related to those forces that have caused the major structural deformation. So the statement is given here, that is, in the sedimentary rocks, the joints are genetically related to those forces that have caused the major structural deformation. So whether it's true or false, you have to pinpoint it. So since sedimentary rocks, we all know, they are often folded and faulted. Since they are the layered rocks, the bedding and the foliations are present, so they are prone to folding because they are layered rocks. So whenever there is a deformation pattern, so they get folded or faulted. So sedimentary rocks are often folded and faulted. The joints in they are genetically related to those forces that have caused the major structural deformation. Okay, so the given statement that is true. Next one is joints in metamorphic rocks are due to indirect stresses, local stresses, regional stresses, or the local and regional stresses. So in the metamorphic rocks, the joints they are the metamorphic rock types are heavily jointed in many cases, the joints being irregular or non-systematical types because of the deformation process or the metamorphic processes. So these joints are often the result of the local or regional stresses which are acting on the rock mass as a source of metamorphism. During the process of metamorphic activity, the folding takes place or they get folded. Okay, metamorphic means meta means change and morph means in the shape. Okay, so during that process the local and regional stresses they are the joints are formed in the metamorphic rocks. So option D that is correct. Next one is the in mural jointing one set is horizontal and two sets are vertical. So we have talked about the mural joints. So mural joints they commonly show three sets of joints mutually at right angles which divide the rock mass into more or less cubical blocks. So that is how we can define the mural joints. So key terms here, these are the three sets of joints. There must be three sets of joints and essentially mutually at right angles. Okay, so given statement is true. So in granitic and other rock masses, there may occur three sets of joints in such a way that one set is horizontal and the other two sets they are vertical. So all the three sets being mutually perpendicular to each other means essentially at right angles. So that's how we can define mural joints. And we have talked about the keywords how you can remember it that there must be three sets and one set is horizontal and the remaining two sets are vertical in orientation. Okay, so here the correct option is A of the given statements is true. So this was our discussion about the occurrence of joints. Okay, and it's very important for you to understand the processes and just revise it, and that will be helpful for your examination perspective. Okay, thank you.